Welcome back, business crew. It's great to have you on board here for podcast part 4.2.1. My name is Peter Solanico. I'm a business consultant, mentor, and coach. I'm based in Melbourne, Australia. Now, by far, this part has been the most difficult for me because I am trying to provide business strategies and tactics that are applicable to as many people as possible, even though different businesses have their specific characteristics. This part is going to be based on two separate components. The first one is just covering some generic recession breaking tactics which are based on the information I presented in the previous podcast, where I talked to you and described to you the different characteristics that are normally found during an economic and financial crisis, predominantly an increase in crime, antisocial behaviour, thefts, burglaries, shoplifting, stuff like that. And the second component is going to be some case studies. Now, the case studies that I will be providing for you are case studies which are based on my businesses as well as my girlfriend's business, which is based in Poland. Nevertheless, the reason why I have decided to do this is because these are four completely separate businesses. These are completely different businesses, and you can see how strategies and tactics can be implemented in order to make them a little bit more recession or depression proof. I will be providing a lot of detail for you, and I will provide you the websites of each of these businesses so that you can do a little bit of a follow-up yourself and actually get to know what types of businesses these are in more detail, and that will give you a better picture of what type of impact they have on the actual business. Now, the first thing that I would like to discuss is crime prevention. As I mentioned in the previous podcast, there is going to be a considerable increase in crime of various forms. For you as business owners, what is going to be most relevant will be things such as shoplifting or burglaries. This is if you actually have a physical storefront. If you have online business, then probably you will see considerably more credit card fraud, and I also discussed insurance fraud as well. One thing that I like doing in regards to testing out a business's ability to identify and combat shoplifting is by actually myself becoming a secret shopper, or suggesting to the business owner that they get one of their mates to become a secret shopper. The secret shopper is actually a secret thief, because the aim here is not to do any shopping but to see how much you can actually steal from the shop before you actually get caught. It could be myself, or maybe if you are a shop owner, maybe get one of your friends to do this for you. But obviously you need to ensure that the staff do not know that the secret thief is going to be your friend, or that the secret thief is myself. You as the business owner need to be located somewhere very close by, so that if there is a confrontation or if there is a potential conflict, that you can quickly step in there and actually say, look, this is just a test. So look, this is pretty much how it works. You get me to come in and pretend to be the secret thief, and then your job is there to basically, be my safety net, and then you'll be waiting around the corner or maybe a couple of shops down. As the secret thief, I am meant to go in there and basically try to take out as much stuff as I can from your shop before the staff catch on. And then what I do is I just pretty much walk straight out and just give it to you as the store owner. And then I go back into the store and I keep doing it until eventually either I get caught, or you as the shop owner says, all right, that's it, yep, okay, fine, enough, yeah, this is an absolute disaster. And then what we do is we then come back into the store together, we gather your staff around and we show them all the stuff that has been stolen. Now, obviously, well, maybe it's not obvious, but trust me on this, I'm not a professional thief. What we're trying to do here is test out the staff's ability to identify theft and shoplifting. So if they cannot identify or notice that just a normal guy like myself is shoplifting, then clearly a professional shoplifter will be able to have a real party in terms of shoplifting. So that's a very low cost way of testing out your staff's ability to identify shoplifting, and then based on the results of this test, or maybe we should call it a shoplifting audit, you can then personally train your staff or get an outside consultant to train your staff how to be more sensitive to shoplifters. As I said before, I can do this, or you can get one of your friends to do it. That's probably going to be a cheaper, well, that will be a cheaper method for you, because your mate might only do it for you at no cost, or maybe, for a beer or something like that. So you can even get your parents to do it. Just anyone can do this, so long as the staff members are not aware of who they are. So this is something that you should do, and you can obviously do this at any time, and I would suggest you do this as soon as possible, just to see the abilities of your staff members. Now, quite clearly, staff members tend not to be experts in identifying thieves and shoplifters, so the general practice is that you will be able to get away with some shoplifting, but there is a difference where someone like myself or your secret thief comes out maybe once or twice and then gets caught, or whether the secret thief comes out 10 times or 15 times without getting caught. Look, a fun little exercise, but this is one thing that you may want to do to test out your staff's abilities, and then you can implement training as necessary to improve on that. The other crime that I discussed was burglary. You should undertake an audit of the physical characteristics, strengths and weaknesses of your business. That means taking a good look and critical review of your shop front. Have a look at how easy or hard it may be to break open the front door. Does your shop front have glass or windows from top to bottom? That's obviously a little bit of a risk, because not only is it a risk in regards to doing ram raids, but it also makes entry into your store a lot easier. And in particular, have a look at the back. What sort of security features or what sort of physical features are at the back of your store, which may make it easy or difficult for potential burglars to enter the store. I believe that these ideas apply to every single type of business that has a shop front, although quite clearly certain businesses are more prone to being burgled than others. Now, if you own a second-hand bookshop, or in fact any type of bookshop, I really doubt that you're going to be a really hot target for burglaries, since burglars don't tend to target books very much. Books don't really have much of a value to them, or to the people who they offload the books to. Nevertheless, we shouldn't be naive, because whilst books may not be something that they will be targeting, they may be targeting a safe, or perhaps your cash register, or other bits and pieces that you may have in your store. Again, I believe that the risks are going to be quite small, but the risk is nevertheless there, and this risk is heightened when people become more desperate as a result of financial and economic conditions. If you operate an electronics store, a jewelry store, mobile phone store, alcohol store, perhaps even a pawnbrokers with different goods of different sorts of values, then that's a different ball game. There are millions of types of goods that will be at a much higher risk than books, for example. Regardless of what type of goods you sell, I certainly do recommend you taking a look around the physical premises and looking at potential weak spots, perhaps installing bollards, perhaps changing your front or back door if it's quite old, or if it's not as physically strong as what you would like it to be, because, as I said, as economic conditions deteriorate, the chances are that there are going to be burglaries are going to be increasing. You've still got plenty of time for it, but it's something that you should certainly consider and undertake an audit in this particular area. Other crime prevention strategies would include putting in security cameras, security systems, depending how large your business is, perhaps employing a security guard, or maybe even hiring someone who used to be a security guard, who has security guard experience, as a staff member. So, for example, let's just say that you are looking for a front of shop staff member, or maybe a sales staff member, or maybe a checkout operator, and you have many different applicants. Me personally, if I was in such a situation, I would actually be preferring to have somebody who has some security experience if such an individual was applying for the position, because this individual will not only be able to undertake the role of checkout operator or sales staff, or whatever the position may be, but because they have this security background, they may be more sensitive towards shoplifting. The good news is that security systems and closed circuit televisions are coming down in price. So it would be a good idea to investigate the possibility of installing those. Not only can they help you to catch potential shoplifters and thieves, even though they may be staff members, but they're also a very good deterrent. If I was a burglar or a thief, and if I had many different stores to choose from, I would prefer to choose the store that doesn't have cameras or security systems, because that would just make my job a lot easier. I think that many other criminals would probably think the same. So having a security system installed in your shop, and then putting a number of different signs in different places, I think that will act as a deterrent, more so than for use of catching the actual criminals. As the saying goes, prevention is better than cure, so perhaps you can use this as a preventative measure, particularly where the investment is really not that large. Another idea would be to get your neighbouring store owners together and create a type of a neighbourhood watch. As geeky, as wanky, let's call it, this sounds, it's actually not, because every single store owner will have the same concerns and will have the same wants, and that concern is shoplifting, is crime, and they will want to minimize these and have as many deterrents as possible. So by going into your neighboring stores and saying, look guys, I believe that we should have a meeting together and we should discuss how we can combat, or how we can help to reduce the possibility of crime and theft in our shop precinct. I just can't see you getting laughed at, or people saying, oh look, yeah, nah, not interested. Just can't see that. Well, maybe there is someone who's particularly weird, some shop owner, but I think that, the majority, in fact, if not all of the shop owners, will think, oh look, yeah, look, definitely, look, I'm interested. I want to hear what you have to say about that. So my suggestion here, and again, this is pretty much free, is just to have a neighborhood watch in terms of shop owners. So it might not be called neighborhood watch, it might be called the shop owner watch. We know that neighborhood watch has been applied in communities where households and families are sensitive to what's happening on the street. Well, the concept is pretty much the same here, except here the shop owners look after each other. An example how that might work, there might be a shoplifter who is known to one particular shop owner. He might have a photo of this guy which is taken from maybe his security system. Then maybe this photo should be shared around and be given to the shop owners of the shops nearby. Basically say, look out for this guy, he's bad news. Or perhaps it could be that one of you has access to a good security system at a low price. You can then share that information, pass it on to others. Or maybe you guys might find that out of the 20 or 30 shop owners that come to this potential meeting, maybe 6 or 7 of them do not have a security system installed. So what you guys will do, maybe get the 6 or 7 of you together, go into an electronics store or a security shop and basically say, look, we want to buy 6 or 7 security systems. What price can you do? We want at least 20 or 30% less than the retail price, because there are going to be 6 of us. Or perhaps maybe you might be able to buy the security systems, but normally you'd have to pay for installation of them. Well, in this case, because the guys to come in installing the security system into the 6 or 7 neighboring shops, that might be done for free. So really, the sky's the limit in terms of what you guys can discuss during these shopkeeper and crime prevention meetings. But once again, this is something that I highly recommend, is just to go to your shops around your area and basically organize a shop owner meeting, a get together. It could be in your premises, or it could be in a central location, or whatever. Once again, these are just technicalities which you can organize yourself for the purpose of bringing you guys together so that you can brainstorm about potential crime prevention methods that each of you can implement to help each other out.